Her name was Amira. When she first met Malik, it was like stepping into a fairy tale. He didn't just talk, he showed her. New clothes, shiny shoes straight from the store shelf, bags in her hands she never expected. With every gift, he wasn't just buying fabric or leather. He was buying her trust, her love, her hope. Malik made her feel chosen. He took her shopping like it was nothing, making sure everyone around could see he was a man who took care of his woman. Amira glowed, not because of the clothes, but because she felt secure. She gave up family ties to stand by him, believing in his promise of forever. In those early days, she was sure nothing could break them, but forever came faster than expected. The gifts slowed, the warmth disappeared. Instead of compliments came complaints. You don't cook. You don't clean. You don't know how to do anything. The man who once lifted her up now found ways to cut her down. And each word didn't just sting. It scarred. Amira still tried. She cleaned. She helped. She carried the weight of their child while fighting her own battles with depression and anxiety. But Malik didn't see her effort. He only saw what he wanted to criticize. The same woman who stood by him through everything was suddenly labeled lazy. He didn't understand the storm she was carrying inside. Then came the late-night texts. Names she didn't recognize. Conversations with other women that left her shaking. Screens glowing with betrayal. Each message felt like a knife. But instead of cutting the tie, she held on tighter. She told herself maybe it was a mistake. Maybe he'd change. Deep down, she didn't want to lose the man who once made her feel so special. The arguments grew louder, the words sharper. Amira found herself crying in silence, wondering how the same man who bought her shoes to walk beside him now used those same shoes to step on her pride. He didn't just attack her actions, he attacked her worth. Still, she stayed. Amira had given up everything, even her family, to stand with Malik. She sacrificed peace, pride, and pieces of herself. She was always there for him, but he couldn't see it. While he worked, she carried the home, their child, and her own pain. One day, Malik would say he loved her. The next, he'd tear her down. The cycle never stopped. To outsiders, they might look like a couple still holding on, but only Amira knew the price of that hold. She was still with him, not because he deserved it, but because her heart hadn't learned how to let go. Amira lay awake long after Malik's breathing grew steady in sleep. The pillow beneath her was wet with tears she dared not let him see. The quiet of the night wasn't restful. It was heavy, filled with questions she had no answers to. Was this love, or just chains dressed up as promises? One morning, Amira stood in front of the mirror and didn't recognize the woman staring back at her. The sparkle in her eyes was gone, replaced by shadows of exhaustion. She touched her reflection, realizing the woman she had once been, joyful, hopeful, full of life, had disappeared somewhere along the line. Malik had taken her love, but in return, he had stolen her light. The thought came slowly at first, like a whisper she ignored. Leave. But the whisper grew louder with every insult, every silent tear. Her heart wasn't ready, but her soul was begging for freedom. For the first time in years, Amira began to imagine a life without Malik, a life where her sacrifices weren't buried in someone else's pride. Amira stood at the window, staring out at the world beyond. Malik's voice echoed in the background, but she wasn't listening anymore. She had lived through love and pain, through hope and despair. Whether she stayed or left, one truth was clear. The story wasn't over. Not yet. The next chapter of her life was still unwritten, waiting for her to decide if she would keep giving or finally choose herself. Amira's story reminds us that love can give, but it can also take away. Her ending is still unwritten. If you want more powerful stories like this one, subscribe and join us for the next chapter.